Monday morning, let's have a go at another watercolour painting of a lake or the sea, a rocky, hilly distance with some couple of banks either side of a stream, a river running into it. A bit rocky because we're into rocks at the moment, and a larger sort of figure looking out across the lake to the view on the other side. If any time you watch this and you want to know whether I do portraits of animals and people in oils, the answer is no. It's a skill I haven't learnt. I stick to what I wanted to paint in the first place, was trees and skies and reflections and that sort of thing. They were this type of scenes that really turned me on. It's a level of skill I haven't got, in other words. So I only do what I do. And there's plenty of that to keep me going as a landscape painter, because that's what I regard myself as. I'm just looking to make sure all my bits of plastic are in the right place. So, a bit of sandy sort of colour here, but with some rocks scattered around, just to make a point of interest. I'm waiting to get some photographs of Scotland. Family have been up there and taken some lovely paintings, photographs, and I'm sure I can do 2 or 3 of them. So if you're just setting out, you need to build up a library of reference material, paintings, books, things that you can use to guide you on your quest. But you should never really run out of material. I know we just scratch our heads sometimes because we keep doing similar things, but hey, if you're going to paint 1 a week, it doesn't matter. But like me, you paint 10, 12, 13, I make videos of them. Because I don't rehearse these. You do need a lot of material to keep you going, but you must start collecting. Have a drawer somewhere with photographs, take some photos, prints of some of your own digital photographs, get them done and build up your library. But above all, practice, practice, practice. I know we make it look easy, and it is, but you have to do a lot of practice and paintings till it becomes easy, or easier. It never gets easy, of course. That would be a daft thing to say, because it's just relative, isn't it? The more you do, the better you get. But there will always be people better than you, whatever you do. And no more so than in art. But we've all got our styles. That's why I don't mind people. I encourage you to copy what I do, as long as you don't put your signature on it. Do what I do. Until you develop a style of your own, which you will. We'll have a bit of blue in there. So there's my palette: lemon yellow, raw sienna, alizarin crimson, light red, ultramarine, burnt umber, Payne's grey and burnt sienna. And the reason we wet the paper all over is that it expands uniformly, and then you can reclip. Now the colours dry lighter than you put them on, so you have to make allowances for that. And I use a bit of ultramarine there, a bit of light red, because we're going to make a bit of a cloud. Don't worry about painting too heavy, because it will bleed out into the wetness. Let's get one darkish cloud on there. So make the sky part of your picture, if not the major part of it. In my case, I love skies. I'm always looking at them, and they are very, very beautiful. Right, while that's a bit, I'll give it another reclip, and then I'll go in and do the distant hills, mountains. Try to make them interesting, but don't get carried away and do a regiment of all shapes the same size. You must vary it. The same sort of colours. Bit of distant blue to show it a bit further away, and then come up with a warmer, bit more red, bit of burnt umber. And now it needs to be heavier on that side, otherwise it won't register. Right, okay, we can put in some bit of sienna in there, just to warm that up. I'm coming up my little figure. Okay. I'm not happy with that behind, so I'm going to just change that a bit. There, that'll do. Right, so that's the sort of background, and into that we can add some bit of greeny, sort of bluey. Just a bit of tree line, something just. Just adds a bit of detail in that background there. But you need to, if you're painting into wet paint, you need a thicker paint. For otherwise, it'll just bleed out into infinity. Okay, let's put some at the top there. Okay, that gives another plane. So we've and then I'll put the foreground trees, or the trees in the middle distance. So a bit of green in there, burnt umber, bit of yellow, thick, bit of red. I'll paint round my little figure. When your brush splits, as it will, just dip it in some water and just bring it back. I'm going to paint up into that with that side, I think. So we can just come down into there. Just so this would be the top of that bank on the right. Just go there. Keep away from him. Her. Right, that'll do. I won't go any further than that. But I want this fairly dark on here because I will superimpose some yachts or scrape out just to show some interest on that horizon there. Maybe a bit of a boat. Right, just put in a bit of reflection here. Just leaving a little bit of a white margin there. Now they've got that blue and the red. Sort of bit of a reflection behind that. Coming down. And bit of lighter blue. Just behind that, showing that peak behind. Right, we've got this bank coming across here, so I think that'll do. I'll just put in some harder reflections there. The paint that I'm using is now soft with the amount of water that I put in it, and it's getting thicker now, which is what I want. Now if that's sea, it wouldn't be glassy, would it? So that's going to be rock. That's going to be a reflection, and that's a bit too hard edged there because it dried. So let's just touch the edge of this, just bring it down a little bit, feather it, allow the paint there to bleed a little bit. Right, okay. Let's give that a bit of a dry. You can flick in some before you do too much. We just put in some tree trunks. Right, okay. Right, now we clip again. You see, I point this out, most watercolours, you don't need to stretch your paper. And the paper I'm using is Fabriano from Arts Discount, Grantham's Arts Discount. It comes in blocks of 100 for £30 or thereabout plus postage. It's a very good way to buy the paper. It's inexpensive for watercolour paper, but it's good enough to actually paint on. Right, don't know what's going to happen with that, but right, I'll start to put in some grass up here. We're going to so nice blue. I'm just using the primaries with a bit of burnt umber thrown in at the moment. So green, blue, red. That's nice and soft now. I'm trying to stay away from Payne's grey. Oh, here we go. Let's. And then we'll have some sienna in there to masquerade as sand. That's not light enough, is it? Burnt umber is a good sand colour. Although that's got a bit of blue mixed in with it. Let's just take that across there now. Blue and the sienna, the burnt umber, gives a nice sort of dark grey colour anyway, but it's warmer than the Payne's grey. Right, okay. So, want a bit of sienna now, and mixed in with that. So, just to warm up, I'm putting some rocks in here. Right, okay. Here we go, nice rock colour, blue, brown, sienna, loaded blue. Because it when you scrape it with your card, you've actually got some paint to move with lots of colours in it. Because it all scrapes down and gives you a nice effect, well hopefully a nice effect, so here we come. I like doing all these rocks because they're easy. You get a card and then just start to scrape it a little bit. Start at the top of your paint, otherwise you'll end up with like a, I don't know if you can see, I'm trying to show you. Start there. But just a bit of interest on this bank here. Okay. And we can put a bit of detail into that as we go. Right. Keep my little bit of card handy. Now we need to do the other side, so we're going to put in some grass on that side, bit of sienna, same. But because I put the man on that side, it will. I want to weight the sides differently. Otherwise, I'm just repeating on the right what I've done on the left. So he's standing on this sort of bank here. You could. I'm just inventing this. The view itself doesn't exist. It's just a painting made from experience of doing lots of them from your memory bank, if you know what I mean. Now we can put in some darker, sombry rocks. But I'm going to have the water sort of flowing that way. Some blue in there. That's too red. Right, okay, let's card it. It is a bit smaller than these ones. Otherwise, it will make for monotony and okay, that seems to be alright. Right, now with the side of the rigger, I'm assuming that's dry. I'll give that a bit of a dry. This is probably number 3. I'm not sure, it's worn out, so I don't know what it is. I really need to just put that dark around that figure because it's just a bit ragged around there, and I don't want that ragged, so I'll just fill that in so he's sort of silhouetted around there. Right, okay. Now, some nice grasses coming up here, and we'll put our reflections in there. Cover up bits you don't like that bit. Yeah, just a bit of detail on that edge. Now we'll have a bit of green. I've got to paint this water. I haven't forgotten it. I'm going to put a bit of sky in there. But I'll do that when it's dry. So let's just. Okay, so we've got something happening there, haven't we? a bit of reflection of those rocks there. Just the grass. This is like a low, well, I can't say tide, can I? Just a bit of stuff in this sort of inlet here, and we can put in all sorts of interesting stuff, right? Just things growing or things man-made. Just planted there, just just a refresher. I should really be doing those last when I put in the sky colour in the water. But I'm going to go and texture a bit of the left-hand bank now. So let's just. I'm using the shoulder of the brush along here rather than the tip, because you get a more random, spontaneous look. Look, and as you come to the down a bit, you can heavy it up a bit, you know, look, warm it up. Oops. A bit more detail around here. Umber, ultramarine. You need these nice lovely darks. Okay, all adds a bit of interest to the foreground here, but we don't want to overdo the foreground because we're looking out in the distance. So let's just put some of this in here. It's like sort of sand dunes, but whatever they end up looking like, really. But they need to be warmer than the background colours, otherwise they'll look distant rather than nearer. Okay, so we've got enough going on there, I think. Probably lost a bit there. Let's fill that in a little bit with the umber, yellow, blue. Could put a bit of a tree up there. Just a bit of spontaneity. Just a splash of nothing really. Just covering up those holes in the landscape, in this lake bit here. Now, a little goes a long way, and it's very easy to overdo all this and just think, well, that looks good. Let's put a few more in. Right, that I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to do any more. Figure. Now it's quite a big figure, so I'm using this. I'm going to use it to do a red jacket. This is a number 6 sable mix, I think. So we've got him up here. So let's. Nice and big. Big blue for his jeans. His head. Right, let's get his red up there a bit. Right, And we can put a bit of a reflection down here. I think we might just put a bit of red there. Might not work really, but but I'll put a shadow in. Right, now let's I'll just dry this off here. And remember, when you do this, like put the reflection in here, you need to re-wet the water, but before you re-wet it, you need to make sure it's bone dry. So I'm only going to do it from here. Whoops, dirty brush. Don't scrub this too much, otherwise it will dislodge the paint underneath. So right, okay, so that shows enough of that sky, and we can put in a little bit of his red. Okay, a bit of blue for his napper. Right, that'll have to do. Now, a bit of blue and umber. Just a bit of red. Okay, that's about all I can do there. Now we will put in, we'll scrub out, so we'll need a little brush, a bit of tissue, scrub out some boats there, a bit of interest on the horizon. Right, let's just lift out quite a good sail there, because no, that brush is useless. Use this brush, this little rigger. I want that sail to come to a nice point. And then we do the same here. Just loosen the paint really, so you get the reflection. Okay, so that's one. Put another one in somewhere else. That's one here. See, that's why I painted that dark here, so that the light is not really a good light coming out here. I mean, the actual painting I'm talking about, because of the paint on the paper, but it's dark enough to give a good contrast. And then we can just lift out another bit of reflection in here. That'll do, that'll do. Might be able to just make that a little bit cleaner there. So if I'm asking. There we are, that's quite a nice one. And you can, I'm not painting a portrait here, a masterpiece. I'm showing you how to put some interest in the landscape. Now we can put our little houses, boat houses or something on the other side. Just a roof, using a damp brush. Try and get it straight. And same here. No, I think just one will do. Right, that'll do. Right, my finger don't look too bad. Let's just separate his legs a little bit. Oh, it wouldn't be like that, would it? Because there'll be a bit of colour behind that. Okay, so though he's good enough, we've got just a bit of a darkish bit there, just where his arm is. Right, okay, couple of beads, very faint. A good dodge if you've got some rogue blots in your sky, you can use them for the bodies of the bird. Right, any more than that I think would be a waste. It's a simple watercolour showing again how to do rocks, distance, reflections, etc. You need to practice these things. That's just my version of it. I'm going to put that in a mount and go and upload it to YouTube. But I've discovered Alan Owen kindly shared the way he compresses the files from MOD to MP4. Because some of these, we're using Canon camcorders and quite cameras that record with a lot of information. It takes ages to upload, but if you can compress it, it's very easy to do because YouTube have got all sorts of instructions on how to use these compressors. I think that's just a little bit hard there. That should have been a bit more worn, weathered. But anyway, I'll put that in a mount, in my blue mount as usual, and we'll have a look there. Sort of a Lakeland scene with rocks. Lakeland scene could be anywhere. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.